So here's the one thing that we know to be pretty true. When I look at my data, I can see that my search traffic is down about 50% over the last 12 months, and my ChatGPT traffic has increased by about a factor of 10x. Now, those numbers are still way different. They're not even close to each other yet. But it's undeniable that our searchers are going in more places than ever. I just believe that it's not okay to just tell your client, like, well, we don't get data from ChatGPT, or we don't get that coming into Google Analytics, so we can't give you. I'm like, I gotta keep trying to find a way to help my clients through this crazy time where the traffic numbers are kind of all over the place. Now, what I can tell you is that I don't have all the answers, but I am starting to use Datos data to try to understand user journeys better and better. So because I've started to get this data for some of my clients, the question I'm asking is, what did people do right after they visited ChatGPT? So I'm going into ChatGPT, and I'm having it write SQL to help me extract this information to say, show me the 20 sites that people visited after they visited ChatGPT in a certain vertical, just so that I can start to get some of this data back and better inform my client strategy. So one of my first hypotheses is I said, show me how many unique users of the database that Datos has of user clickstream data, how many unique users did more than 500 Google searches in a month? And I can get that number. And then I said, how many people did more than 30 unique ChatGPT queries in a month? And I get that number. And you can kind of see that if you look at the first few months, we're always around 20, 27%. And in the last 3 months, we're around 24, 26% as well. But what you're seeing is the proliferation of people doing 30 or more ChatGPT queries for this specific clickstream data set. The next thing I wanted to start to play around with that you can see here is I said, okay, give me everybody that went to ChatGPT and then take the next 20 clicks of theirs, and then give it to me by domain and how many unique users and what percentage of those users went to these different websites. So now I'm starting to get a little bit more of a holistic view of what exactly are people doing after they visit ChatGPT, what kind of sites are very popular based on, obviously in this instance, a selection of sites that I chose in the travel space. The idea here is to say, now we can start to bring some kind of data. It's a lot better than showing up with a goose egg and telling your clients that ChatGPT doesn't have webmaster tools. This is how I'm backing into my version of webmaster tools for these different AI search sites so we can make better search strategy. Now, I get full URLs in Datos when I'm analyzing data, but I figured I would just roll them up here. So I can look at an individual user session and say, okay, what are they doing after Google? I can see the websites that they're visiting. I can see when they went to ChatGPT and then they went to Google and they looked at a bunch of different maps around national parks in this instance. And they stayed on Google and looked at accommodations. It looks like they maybe went back to ChatGPT, ended up seeing a lot more Airbnb. And you can just kind of see how people are going from ChatGPT, potentially. Remember, people open up multiple tabs and we can't say for sure that this is the order in which they traverse the web. But it sure is helpful when you can see that somebody left potentially ChatGPT, went onto a website like VRBO, and you get the whole URL. So then you can see, are they likely to check out? Are they likely to be in the search? How many rooms are people looking at when they're coming from ChatGPT? Is that different than a Google user? This is that kind of intelligence you can at least try to use this data set for. And I'll tell you, I leaned heavily on ChatGPT. I trained it on what the schema looked like, created a separate project folder for this project, and it wrote the SQL to help me pull out these kinds of insights. So now when you look at this data, it puts you in a different position and gives you a different posture. Your client is fully aware that people don't have fewer questions. They're just going in more places. So just because they're not Googling anymore, doesn't mean people aren't looking for solutions to their problems. Think about it. We know that people are in WhatsApp groups, people are in LinkedIn groups, people are coming from Reddit and other places. So imagine now, as search is declining, if you can see a totality of a sliver of the market and where they're likely to go on these other sites to understand where exactly people are going to get their questions answered. You can do this on B2B, you can do it on B2C, you can do it in travel, you can do it in education. You want to know how many people visit US News and World Report before they make a decision about what university? That data could very well exist here in Datos. So you can see how I'm using it. It's not the cheapest data to get your hands on in the world, but I will tell you that it will make you a much more holistic marketer if you do. I'm super early in my journey here. So please blow this up, give me feedback, tell me what way you're looking at things, but I'm trying to show up for my client and my teams with a little bit more information about how things are changing in this world when we just get less and less data every day.